Welcome to another edition of Conversations with Pawley Primo. I, of course, am your boy Pawley Primo. Uh, but it's not about me. It's about our guest. Always about the guest. Today, I believe we have a guest that's ranks high on the fucking totem pole, man. When you're talking hip hop, ranks very high on the totem pole. When you're talking controversial, ranks very high on the totem pole. When you're talking boxing aficionado, ranks very high on the totem pole. And when you talk making movies, he's working his way up the ladder. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Ari the Rugged Man.
You know it's about that time to grab a bag of the stickiest itchy bind you can find and pearl one up. Welcome to the Pearled Up Podcast.
What's up, man? There he is.
Your piece is the audio working?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
There you go. Okay. Where you from?
Delaware, man. I'm from East Coast, man. Born and raised, first state.
You got your toys, I got my toys.
I was just getting ready to say, man. I see the Reagan there. Who's behind Reagan?
That's John Belushi, Animal House.
Okay, I was wondering if that was Animal House or not. I have yeah, man. You collect pops or is it just certain ones?
Nah, it was a boring shot, so I do some toys in it.
I had a nice kind of obsession with Funko Pops. I like to flip them, sell them, but these are all pre-production pieces that I have. The first one off the line before they got painted, just quality inspection. I've got the Patrick Bateman. That's my dude right there. Patrick Bateman, man. American Psycho. Had to get that.
American Psycho.
Got that in the Fight Club setup there.
I haven't seen American Psycho in years. I got to watch it again. Yeah.
Oh, it's good, man. It's one of the ones I find that the book is pretty good, but in my opinion, it's one of the ones where the movie's a little better. Whereas Fight Club, a lot more crazy shit in the book.
Okay, because I heard, I can't speak because I haven't read the book, but I heard that the book was better because you had all the crazy thoughts in his head and you couldn't portray that in the movie. But that's just one person's opinion. I haven't seen I haven't I haven't read the book yet. So is the podcast started already?
Yeah, I came in right before you came in. I had just done a little intro saying that we are going to have you on, and then like the second I got done, I looked looked up, and you were in a waiting room. And,
Oh man, all right. Am I allowed to curse or no cursing? I was
you
just kind of
listen, brother. You can say anything you want, man.
I was in slow motion because I thought you were setting up. I didn't know we was already live.
It's all good. You called me like right after the intro, and I was like, oh, there he is.
Okay, sounds good. So let's go. Grill me, like Tom Atkins would say, right?
Let's fucking go. Fucking right. All right, man. So the Chris Jericho theme song, WWE Aggression. How the fuck did that come about?
Well, I had signed to Priority Records years after I left Jive and had all the complications of Jive. Priority kept chasing me years later. They started chasing me, and the guy up there said, "Hey, what's the worst that's going to happen? You're back in your basement, you're back in your garage, broke. Try it." So I went to Priority, and it was garbage again. It was the same situation as the Jive situation, but because I was on Priority, they asked me, "Hey, you're a wrestling fan, right?" I said, "Yeah, the classic stuff, Roddy Piper, Macho Man, Iron Sheik, all of that, Nikolai Volkov, that era, even a little earlier, older, Bruno San Martino, But yeah, Andre the Giant, obviously, but so they said, "Look, this guy Chris Jericho, we're doing a soundtrack. Would you want to do his song?" I said, "Sure." So that's how that came. Just that's how a lot of things happen when you sign to a situation or a corporation or something. That's when opportunities open up like that sometimes, you know.
So
So,
you had no say on the wrestler or on who it was. They just pretty much specifically picked
well,
you
they asked
for
me if I
that
want to
name.
do Jericho, and I said yes, you know.
Okay.
And if I would have said no, you know, the money's not good enough, they would have said, okay, we'll get a platinum or double platinum artist. So
Right.
go screw yourself, you know.
Right.
So I did the record, and it was funny when I showed up. They said no gun talk, no wrestling moves. I wasn't allowed to say any wrestling moves.
Oh
I
wow.
wasn't allowed any blatant. Uh, it was all these weird rules. So if you listen to the song, I'm like, I'll duct tape you. Like I'm trying my best not to say something. I wanted to be violent, but there was like all these rules of violence I wasn't allowed to say. So I was like,
Right.
I'll eat your face. I don't even remember the
That's
rhymes, but it
right.
was like me dipping around trying to say violent stuff
Sounding hard without really
without being
laying the fucking
penalized
technical stuff
or
down, right?
whatever,
Yeah.
whatever.
That's
But
crazy that they would ask you to
Jericho,
do that.
Chris Jericho is a singer and a rock and roll dude and musician, and he's a genre fan. He loves horror movies. I think he's even a Joe D'Amato fan, if I'm not mistaken. He likes all the crazy stuff I like, and I didn't know that when we were working together for that other record, you know. So,
Nice. That's fucking awesome, man. Yeah, Fozzy, man. Fozzy's huge. Like, I guess over here they're not as big, but like globally, they're pretty fucking they're pretty successful, man.
well, Fozzy, he's been doing it for decades, right? Because I think, not long after we did the WWF, that was 24 years ago, I think. And I think Fozzy was around there, or the beginning of Fozzy was around that
Right.
time. So if I'm not mistaken, I could be mistaken, but I think it was. So he's been building it up for years, you know.
That's yeah, he's definitely been torn. It's weird too, to watch him go through the changes. He came in, he was, fucking going to Japan and everywhere else, and he's cut. Now he's just I don't know. I don't know if he's gonna play it out till he's like Ric Flair's age or he's gonna go out gracefully sometime, but I don't know. the
Well, I
He's in much better
mean,
shape than I am. I can say that.
I mean, do it as long as you can do it, you know.
Hell yeah. As long as
George
it's still paying the
Foreman, you
checks,
know?
right?
I mean, respect, if he could still, if his body could hold up and fly off ropes and into other giant, powerful men and not get hurt,
Right.
why would he stop now? Keep doing it till your body breaks. So,
Yeah. Either way, he's gonna be down in, WWE Hall of Fame one day. And it's crazy because you'll be right there with him. Your name will be attached to that Hall of Fame one day once he gets in, which is crazy to think about.
oh, well, there's a lot of people that also did Jericho's music. So, much respect. I don't think, at the Hall of Fame, they're going to put the soundtrack song I did.
No, no, but I just mean
But I
in like a
know what you mean.
quasi kind of way, like a meta way. Like hey man, I did the fucking theme song for this guy. Now this guy's on a higher level than and fucking wrestling, immortalized. It's
Yeah, yeah, respect to
it's like
that
a notch
man.
in the belt, it's like it's like a ready notch made for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, he deserves it. He's a hard worker. He's great at what he does. He's got star quality. The kids
Oh
loved
yeah.
him for decades, and he had the good guy strength, the bad guy strength. He had it all. So much respect to Chris Jericho.
Oh yeah.
So, and the fact that he's a horror fan. Yeah,
That's cool. That's one thing
the
I didn't know.
war
I
man.
actually did not know he was a horror fan. That's
Yeah, I
something
think he
new to
was
me.
I don't know if it was Fangoria podcast or he was on somebody's podcast and he was talking about a lot of the obscure stuff that the people in my circles like. So
So you talk about obscure movies. You're over and I don't, I want to put this out there if you don't want to, but you're in Belgium, Brussels, right now
I'm in
nowadays.
Berlin, Germany, because
Berlin.
that's where
Okay,
my kids live. Their mother's a school teacher in Berlin. But we're filming the movie in Belgium. My movie I'm filming in Belgium, yes.
there's a movie from Belgium. Have you ever heard? It's from 1986. One of the most disturbed movies I've ever seen. Lucker the Necrophagus. Have you ever seen that?
No, I'm not familiar with it. But Jonas. Govarts, my friend who's a director out there, I'm positive he knows the film. That's his world, But
It's insane. It's just it's if you like obscure, weird, twisted fucking movies, you have to see it. I'll send you a link. You have to see it. It's one of those ones where you go like, they fucking made this. Guys like in an insane asylum, he come out, but half the movie, the guy's just naked running around and he's got these dead women tied up in his fucking bedroom. But just some of the scenes, it's like, what was the mind state going into this scene for this guy?
Well, the
You know
Belgians,
what I
that's what I
mean?
love about the Belgians is when I was shooting videos there, Jonas did Legendary Loser. He directed parts of the Firstborn video for me and my daughter. He directed or the whole entire All Systems Go video, which Jacques Digital. And he also directed All My Heroes Are Dead video. And whenever I was there, when I met his people, they all liked the weird, like there was this normal wardrobe lady, and I'm thinking she's normal. I go in the bathroom, she's got a picture of David Cronenberg's The Brood on the wall with the woman
Oh
eating the
shit.
fetus, eating the baby. I think that was the picture on the wall, but it was definitely The Brood. And I was like, they have The Brood in the fucking bathroom. I love these people. And that was the moment I knew I love Belgians. So.
That's awesome. You have any new foods you've grown to like since you've been over there that you probably would
Food.
normally never try?
Nah, nah.
Or you always been worldly with
I've
foods?
eaten schnitzels before I lived here. I used to come visit Germany as a kid and do tours in my teen years here too. Uh, well, not tours, but no. I did a mini tour and then I got kicked off or something. I don't remember what I did. My feet, but maybe it was the 20s. But yeah, so I've been eating schnitzels, goulash, Schumpfnudeln, Spätzle, all of that stuff. I've been doing that for years out here, so it's nothing new. I'm not a huge fan of kebabs, the doner kebabs, because after hours, it's the only thing to eat sometimes, and you get sick of it, and they're on every block. So, like, what's for dinner tonight? The doner spot is a couple feet away. Go to the doner spot. It's like some kind of doner kebabbed out, you know?
Right. Gotcha.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, too much of something. It's just at first you're like, it's not too bad. Then all of a sudden it's just less and less appealing the more you see it, you know? It's bullshit, man. Which is crazy because I don't know, I'm kind of like that with certain things. It's weird. I love pizza, something like that, but too much of anything. It's just I don't give a fuck about pizza nowadays. You
I
know what I
love
mean?
pizza. That's a
You like
sick. Like, I love pizza.
you a pan crust, thin crust?
What?
You a
What?
thin crust, pan crust? What do you New York style?
You
Or
know, I like regular New York pizza. I'm not a big fancy pizza guy. But, I like the taste of pizza. I try not to eat it too much, but yeah, I like regular pizza. Maybe throw some pepperoni on there or something.
something light, right?
Yeah.
You one thing everybody knows about you, you're huge into boxing, huge boxing aficionado. You already know what I'm going to ask.
No, I don't know. I don't know.
Fucking Tyson versus Paul.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously,
I
I
hate
hate to
giving it
even ask, but I
attention.
gotta know.
There's real fights out there with real boxers. And the only boxing question you get is about the YouTube guy. And I had nothing against Paul in the beginning when it was like a little YouTube spectacle, and they all said, "Oh, he can't beat a real athlete," and he was beating the MMA guys. And at some point, you got to step up and no, he doesn't actually because the public keeps paying for it. So I have nothing to get.
Big money.
He's hustling, but now you're fighting a 60-year-old man. Now it's like I don't know if he knows the health uh, dangers in boxing. Punching a 58-year-old, 50, how old is Tyson? 57, 58?
58, I believe.
Yeah, he's
58,
close
28, I
to
believe is
damn
the
60.
difference.
You're punching a 60, close, damn near
Yeah.
60-year-old man in the head. And people go, oh, it's Tyson. Yeah, it's Tyson. But people don't understand your ability to take a punch lessens every decade. Like, when you're 40, all of a sudden, oh shit, now you get knocked out by people that would have never knocked you out. So imagine when you're 50, and imagine when you're 55, and imagine when you're 56, 7, 8. So getting in the ring with a 58-year-old, it's kind of like, especially when he's a trained athlete now,
Right.
And when he did fight a boxer, he lost on points. You know, it's like he knows he's not a real boxer. So the biggest name is a 60-year-old man, and so I think it's disrespectful. I think you know, but Tyson's a grown man. Tyson's
Right.
making money. Tyson said
Had to be
yes.
making huge money to bring him out of there. I
But
mean,
the thing is, you know, you gotta let these boxers live their life. You know, it's time to not get punched in the head anymore. Even if
that's
you're
there you
Mike
go.
Tyson, even you know, I mean, what was it? Evander Holyfield could barely talk, and he was in the ring like a year ago and getting knocked out easy by a guy that could barely punch in boxing. You know, it's like you can't. I mean, that's how people get hurt for life. And if you talk to most of these boxers that's been in these wars, almost all of them have slow speech or there's something off when they're talking, and it's like
Punch
so
in the
so
head repeatedly.
yeah, when you're 20 and 30 years old, okay, you're making your living, you're making your legacy, you're feeding your future family, okay, okay. But at some point, you got to stop punching these guys in the head, you know, and you got to deal with safety and you know. But if the state regulates the fight and it's legal and Tyson says yes and Paul knows he'll make millions and millions and millions of dollars, you know,
Buku cash,
doing what they're
man.
doing. He's not doing nothing that he's not allowed to do. And I just think it's a cowardly thing because well, it's not even a coward thing. It's a business move.
It's like the what do they call it? Like low hanging fruit kind of deal. Like it's just
Yeah, yeah, it's a
you know
business
he
deal.
knows.
It's kind of like when Floyd fought Conor McGregor. Floyd knows, oh, this guy can't hurt me. I'll go in there and the whole world knows he's famous and he'll talk a lot of trash and then really idiot, all the idiot white kids, oh, Conor's gonna beat a guy. You know, he's not, you know,
Yeah, because
but
it's fucking
then they
boxing. It's a
bought
whole
the
different.
Conor McGregor Floyd fight more than regular fights, just like they're gonna buy Jake Paul versus Tyson more than regular fights. It's
Oh
all
yeah,
we're in an era of carnival acts. Everything's a carnival show, you know. It's not
true.
nobody can, you know, those kind of fights would have got laughed at decades ago. Like if they did like a mixed fight like that, it would be like a the secondary. Nobody would really go to it. It wouldn't be a big event, you know, like it
Right,
wouldn't outsell the Thriller in Manila, you know. Yeah.
right. It's I feel like everybody, just because obviously, you know, Tyson's name is associated with it,
Celebrities.
everybody's
Yeah.
like fucking because everybody that I speak to, whether they appreciate the business aspect of what Jake Paul's doing, everybody just wants to see this kid get knocked the fuck out. You know what I mean?
Well,
And
so
I
then
think
tell him to
everybody's
fight a
just hoping that
boxer.
Tyson does
Tell
it.
come to fight a boxer his own age that
Right.
could punch, and he'll
Right.
get knocked out in one round.
Yeah.
Tell him to fight a legitimate boxer his own age who could punch. You know, and no steroids are allowed, and keep it clean, you know, have it regulated and have the rules legitimate, and see what happens. But that's not what he's doing. He knows the public is really stupid. And look,
Yeah.
as stupid as the fight is, and as much of a waste of a time it is, you just asked me about it, and we just talked about it for 10 minutes when we
Right.
could have been talking about any other fight.
It's
That's
fucking
why when
true.
you even asked, I was like, "Oh man,
You know, but I
I
have
almost
to
should
ask
have
because
said
it's
next
on
question.
everybody's mind, you know. It's just one of those things that's on everybody's mind. I just had to get your
Why?
opinion because
Why? I mean, look, that's why look at the leaders of our world now. They're all celebrities and clowns and everything.
yeah, it's
The
true.
world. I think with social media, celebrities were able to be more relevant in every department, from championship boxing to presidents. It doesn't matter. Like, you know,
Yeah.
if you get the most clicks and views,
Then
you
yeah,
know,
you're
you're
gonna
the
have
one they're
that
paying attention to rather
powerful cloud
than
around you.
who is great, you know? Like imagine a Jake Paul even being able to exist in the Muhammad Ali days, you know?
No, fuck no. No. I don't think he would have even he would have never even got to that level. He would have been still stuck down in the
Any
fucking
of them, or imagine a Trump and Biden existing in a JFK day, you know? It is
I
what
hate
it
Biden.
is, you know? So,
One thing about us, man, where I live, Biden is down the street. Well, whatever, you know, a
oh,
couple
you're in
miles away.
Delaware, right?
Everywhere when he goes, they have that rolling 8 mile barricade. Fuck trying to get off work that day when he's in town, when he's coming home. Oh man, you're stuck for hours and hours just sitting there on 95 like a fucking
Oh
sitting
man, I
duck, dude. It
remember
sucks.
when I was living, I moved out of Harlem in 2016 when my daughter was born. So I was there for the Obama presidency from when was it? '08 to '08 to
Not 12. He got 08 to 16,
16,
right? Yeah.
oh 08 to 16,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
he got two.
So I remember I was on a huge tour and I think I got back from Australia or somewhere and it was like 24 hours of flights and this and that. And I finally, and I wanted to get to my apartment and I think Obama was on 125th, maybe at oh my God, I forgot Lindsay's mom's place, Sylvia's. I think he was at Sylvia's or maybe the Red Rooster, and there was barricades, so I had to get out the car with all my luggage and walk like 25 blocks to get home after all the travel from Australia. I was like, "Ah, come on, Obama, not tonight, not tonight, man. Let me get home."
That's
But yeah, so I could imagine Delaware when Biden comes to town, you know.
it's
So
horrible. I don't know. In my opinion, Delaware's a shithole. So I mean, just what the fuck? He
it
hasn't
is.
really done
I
much for
don't know
us.
much about it. I thought it was thought they did good over there, but I'm not sure.
I mean, a lot of big businesses have their company based out of here because they have, I guess, huge tax breaks for major corporations. Um, but which is weird. I guess that's why Elon Musk is always coming to court here and getting fucked. It's really weird. I don't
Oh,
know.
that
He has to
guy's
pay like
gross. That guy's
billions and billions
gross.
of dollars.
Yeah,
But
it's like you see Elon Musk is another example of the Jake Paul thing we were talking about, like where people who are famous or rich get like it's like one of the most clueless idiots, and his social commentary is that of like an eighth grade conspiracy theorist idiot.
right,
And but he's rich, so people, oh, Elon, oh, I mean,
yeah,
and then they'll put all this white nationalism shit up and act like it's truth, and you come to me and it's facts, and it's like, oh my God, you're like an eighth grade conspiracy theorist, you know? It's like an eighth grader, but because he's rich, that means that we should listen to this bum
yep,
ass loser motherfucker, you know? It's like bum ass loser. That guy's a bum ass loser. I don't care if you got trillions of dollars, you're a bum ass loser, you know?
right,
You know, life is short. Life is short, you know, and there's ways to touch people and change lives and improve lives. And especially when you have access to the stuff he has. And you know, your life is you know, very unimportant, man. You're a flash in the pan, you're gone. Nobody's gonna remember you for nothing good you did because you're a piece of shit, you know?
yep.
So
Then the next guy steps up and goes, "Hey, guess what? Fuck him. Guess where I'm at?" And it's
yeah, and then 50 years from now, that's the white nationalist, weird guy, you know? Conspiracy theorist ass motherfucker. Like, and listen, I'll tell you, I have nothing against conspiracy theorists, but I roll with conspiracy realists, people who you know, research into the conspiracies that a lot of times become reality, you know, that are reality already and get uncovered, you know. But all of this like separate whites from blacks and DIA and CRT, you know, diversity hirings and CRT, like it's evil, it's the boogeyman, all of this disgusting racist garbage that these people spread fear with, especially with the platforms they have. It's
Yeah,
crazy, you know.
it is
Like
bullshit.
Chuck and them made the song in the 1990 made the album Fear of a Black
Fear.
Planet. And
Yep.
it's that and that was, you know, imagine in the 70s and 50s and 40s how scared they are of black folks. It never ended, you know.
Oh
So
yeah. It's like, like
oh,
fucking aliens, you know what I mean?
the black pilots are gonna kill us all, you know. Disgusting.
It's
Disgusting.
like you're saying, a lot of people, their underlying tone is some bullshit. You know what I mean? Or they will try to push their agenda across, especially if they have a powerful influence, like because one of the greatest fucking what do they call it? The okey doke. One of the greatest okey dokes, is a fucking a rich person talking, and you take it to be true because they're rich, so they must know. They must know something I don't know. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
or a
And that's
celebrity. Yep.
exactly,
Yep.
or a celebrity, like you're saying. It does nothing but fucking tarnish the fucking bullshit nowadays because people take that and polish it and act like it comes straight from the fucking horse's mouth. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah, yeah, that's the problem with the world. You know, but honestly, it's always been like that. You know, people follow a leader off of a cliff from the beginning of time. That's what they do. Oh, lead us, master, into a cliff, into,
Right.
into a pit, it is what it is. It's just now with social media, they could put it on steroids and magnify it by, 1 trillion. And now every
Yep.
voice all over the planet is walking off the same cliff together, following the
Thinking it,
same
thinking the
billionaire,
same
the same
shit.
celebrity, the same person of power, and then when that person of power, it's time to get them, and now it's the town hall, and we're gonna chase them like Frankenstein with the torches. It's
Yep.
all follow, follow, follow. It's like
It's true.
I wish people would kind of just have a little bit more independent thinking where
Yeah,
they
yeah, yeah, a little bit more free think, a little bit more fucking, their own conscious thoughts instead of just
yeah,
repeating everything
yeah.
they see.
And then it's
Everything they.
not yeah,
A lot of people get their news from Facebook nowadays, so it's, I mean, it's bullshit. Instead of
yeah,
actually,
Facebook,
going to a news
Twitter,
site,
like
they'll type in Facebook.
Instagram, all of it. TikTok and I am not pro ban TikTok either. So just because I bash it, go TikTok, but I'm not with the government stepping in and saying, oh, because it's the Chinese, let's ban it. Fuck all of
Yeah,
that.
right.
If
Yeah,
you're
when they
gonna
say, yeah,
ban
it's too much
if you're gonna
foreign
ban
influence on it
TikTok,
or
then
something,
ban Google, then ban Facebook, then ban all of it,
right?
because all of it is a security risk of information. Come on.
Yeah, shit. I mean, if
That's
Facebook truly
more.
got hacked, I think everybody's information would be at risk. And what do they? They have more users than anybody on the planet, I would
Well, what
assume.
about Google or Yahoo? Everybody's
Oh yeah.
email. You know what I mean?
Forget about Google. You just might as well wrap the whole planet
Well,
up, throw it
well,
away.
yeah, the search engines and everything, whatever the hell it
Yep.
is. So, you know, uh, so of course, so all this, oh, TikTok, the one that the China man is doing, oh, that yellow man is going to kill you and steal your information, but the white guys are okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The fucking 80-year-old guys that are fucking telling you to, you can't have fucking abortions and you can't do this, and we'll tell you what to do with your bodies. Now listen to us, but not
Yep,
somebody else who's, because we don't know what they're doing.
yep,
You
yep.
know,
And I'm not saying any of them are good. I'm
no,
saying, none of them are good, but you pick and choose your enemy. Like we're gonna ban that one and not that. Come on, come on. I live in Germany. My daughter's on TikTok. She loves it. She does
right?
dances. She memorizes songs. She got song lyrics. She's on. She got flows off of rappers and singers. She watches on TikTok.
That's
Plus,
cool.
she's a German kid. She's German and American. She got dual citizenship, but her English is really, really good. She doesn't have a funny accent like that because she watches influencers and stuff. So, I mean, I know they want to act like how negative all of this stuff is, but I see a lot of positive from some of it too. Obviously, there's negative as well,
Right. Yeah.
but
Everywhere there's going to be a good and a
yeah,
bad.
of
So
course, like put on Facebook. There's tons of positive stuff. There's great music. There's great family. There's great friends. There's tons of positive on Facebook. But then you could see all the disgusting, horrible stuff too. That's like anything. So
true.
that's why, as a parent, you keep your eyes on your kids. Make sure that they're safe. Not the government banning an app.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, I don't have kids. I don't know. It's a conscious decision I made a long time ago. Never had them. I was like, I have a couple dogs. It is what it is. But
Have some kids, man. How old are you? Like 30, what are you, 38 or 40?
damn, 30, right on it. I'll be 39 in 2 months.
Yeah, I started late, man. So it's a blessing.
My wife is a little older.
Okay.
She's like, I mean, when we met, it was two completely different walks of life. You know what I mean? She was I want to say born with a silver spoon, but she had it pretty nice. You know what I mean? Me, I'm a piece of shit. My whole life. I was just, I fight for everything I have. Met her and she's just like, hey, open up my eyes to everything new. And I'm like, oh man, it's great. But one thing we both never really wanted, we've been together 7, almost 8 years, never wanted was kids. And I was like, that works for me. I like just be able to get up and go on a drop of a dime.
Yeah, and if you made that decision with a woman that age,
Yeah.
now
Oh yeah.
you made the decision. That is what it is.
You know it.
Because the body don't really work like that for females. So I'm being an ignorant guy. I didn't realize that.
Nah, man, nah, you're good, bro. You're
I'm
good.
like, yeah, have kids now. Look at
No,
Robert De
everybody
Niro. Look
says
at
that
Al
though.
Pacino. De Niro just had a baby at 80. So
Yeah, yeah. I'm actually surprised that they can still have kids. I mean, I don't know if they froze some shit or I would imagine by then it's like, damn, I hope my dick still works and I'm fucking 80. I mean,
Well, I
geez.
think that they have the Viagra if their dick don't work right, and then the sperm's still shooting out of it. I don't want to talk about Bobby and Al's dicks, but but I think the woman was what, like a physically fit 26
Yeah.
year old or
Yeah,
something.
she knew what she was doing. She was hot.
So I think their bodies are fertile and get a little bit of sperm in there, you'll be good. But or they could have, they got so much money they could have did
Just yeah.
insert it or whatever the hell they do. But I mean, I think if they got enough medicine to make a rich guy's dick work, I'm sure for a 26-year-old fertile body. So,
Right.
but who
That's true.
I'm not a doctor, I'm not a sex expert. I don't really know how any of that stuff works. But yeah.
You know what's crazy? Speaking of fucking experts, who would know? Who knows everything? Who I have to ask you about your time with Nardwar.
Oh, he was a great, great guy, man. I really loved it. Yeah, I really loved it. It was one of my favorite interviews because he was so crazy. He just knew so much stuff.
Did he ever reveal? And I assume he didn't because I mean he's been around for fucking decades. But did he ever reveal an inkling of, oh yeah, I talked to so and so, and that's how I knew about like your friend that was a cop or anything like that, or did he
Well,
really keep it hush hush?
I think the Miguel the Cop one, I probably said it somewhere in an interview through decades of that. That's what I imagine.
Right.
But there was other ones that I was like, oh damn. But
Yeah.
let me tell you, when after the interview, Nardwar was at my concert, and then we were sitting against the balcony, and he was talking, and he said, "Hey, RA, so you was around the New York scene. Did you see Jay-Z already? You ran into Jay-Z, right? Tell me something about." So he was like fishing for Jay-Z information to me randomly because like
Oh shit.
probably there's a story I had so I think he just randomly asks so many people random stories about so
And
many people that he's potentially interviewing in a year or two or whatever, and he collects a database in here, or maybe he goes home and writes down if it's something obscure that like, so that's what I think is one of his strategies. I don't think that's his only strategy.
right, right.
But when I saw him kind of pressing me about like, I'm like, why is he asking me random Jay-Z stuff? I'm like, oh,
That makes
he's probably
sense.
seeing if there's some super random story from the 90s. Because Jay used to be up at D&D studios. Jay used to be hustling with his Lexus, on the block. We see him, we seen Jay around all the time.
Right.
So and Jay was in with, Ski from Ski Beats and Camp Low. He was around in that camp. And I remember Ski from, Will Ski from Busy Boys. And then he went on to produce Dead Presidents and a lot of
Yeah.
stuff for Jay and a lot of great stuff and a lot of Camp Low's biggest records. But he was the first
Shit.
one. I mean, we already knew who Jay was, and we knew Jay was in Original Flavor, and we knew Jay was, in the jazz albums. Jazz was on Capitol Records, EMI Records, I think. Yeah, yeah. But I had two of Jazz albums back in what, 88, 89? Not 89, I think. 89 and 90. This is a million years ago, so if I got the numbers wrong, it's close.
Right.
But but I remember this was probably around 93 or 4, and Ski from Rocker Block was like, "Yo, Jay-Z's the best rapper alive." And I was like, "What the fuck? Jay-Z? I mean, he's cool." But he was the first one I ever heard say that. He really had faith in Jay.
Wow.
The first one I seen that had faith with him like that thought they could name Jay the best alive.
Wow.
And I think he was wrong at the time as well, because 93, 94, 95. And you heard Jay when he rapped with Big L on the Stretch Armstrong show, Big L rap circles around him and all that stuff. But I mean, Jay-Z was still dope on it, but
But yeah,
he
he
wasn't the best rapper
still
alive.
learning,
But
still learning this craft.
but Ski saw things in Jay that most of the people didn't see yet. Ski really saw it. So I remember that. I remember that like, wow, because when he said it, I was like, Jay's one of the best alive. Like it caught me off guard because I
Right.
never heard anybody say that. And it stuck with me forever because now so many people in the world say he's the greatest that ever lived. I don't put him on my top 10, but or top 20 even, but I think he's top, probably the top career ever in hip hop. He's a guy who has such a tremendous career,
Yeah.
but with his business savvy and all of that stuff. But
You think his career trumps Dre's overall?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm not an NWA fan. I'm not a fan of NWA.
Just fucking East Coast at heart, right?
No, no, it's not East
No,
Coast.
oh no.
I love West Coast hip hop. I just I think NWA sometimes because they had the big Hollywood movie, they kind of rewrite history a little bit, I don't
Okay.
like I'm a purist, and when you hear Ice-T talk, he was before NWA, and a lot of the gangster rap was before NWA, Schoolie D, Just Ice, a lot of that stuff. But it, Ice-T is very humble, and he kind of says, well, this came from that, and he kind of lets the world know the history, of
Right.
what came first, where it came first. And those are the kind of people I really like, that want to set the record straight of the history because what happens if you get same thing we're saying, if you get a celebrity famous rapper saying some incorrect history, then it's documented and people are going to take that history as fact.
True.
And that's what it will be when somebody listens back to an interview of somebody really famous and respected saying, this is how it went down, even if didn't go down like that. So it kind of, I like the real historians, and Ice-T has one of the greatest careers ever in hip hop, ever, because he was in the early Breaking Two, Sam Furstenberg movie. I think he was. Now my brain's spazzing out because was he in Beat Street as well? I should know. I used to know all of this stuff by heart, so I hate getting old. But I mean, he was doing the early breakdance movies in the early '80s, and then he was doing the first independent album, hustling his independent album, and then with no airplay. Ryan Page came out and went gold with no airplay, and he was making $1 million back in '87, '88, and then movies and commercial. He just has one of the most iconic careers and longevity. Nobody has a long career like that. Snoop as well. Snoop,
Yeah.
Snoop isn't as longevity as Ice-T,
Right.
but what happened was the '90s rap was way more commercial than the '80s.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
Snoop was doing well right in where all the millions of dollars were being thrown at hip hop. So his business was right, his personality was right, his voice was right, his persona was right, and he was able to, Snoop is definitely probably one of the greatest careers ever. Not probably one of the greatest careers that
Oh
hip
yeah.
hop has ever seen. So
I was talking about this with my buddy the other day. If Snoop Dogg went under all the endorsements he has, and so many people, I mean, I know a lot of people create other companies and have other people working for them, but Snoop Dogg, just like you're saying, is one of those people to where so many people would be affected by it if he was to, have like a downfall of some sorts. Just like if, Jay-Z, just like if like I would say Dre, they have so many different businesses and so many different avenues, and they've branched out to so many different walks of life to where it would just they're on a whole different plane than most, to
yeah,
where we
but I
couldn't
don't
really
know.
comprehend.
I don't know about that anymore either because look, they took down Puff, and Puff had things and everything, alcohol companies, clothing companies. Russell Simmons, they took Russell down, and he had his hands in everything as well. And the companies, this when there's that much money involved, the next in line takes over,
Right.
whatever
The
happens, and the
perpetual
world
of
keeps
it.
moving. And also not just you don't have to just be taken down by whatever the hell's taking everybody down. But also people die, and then the machine keeps going and going. So people get old, and the machine keeps going and going. That's part of life in the game. So I mean, if one of them guys went down tomorrow, the game still keeps going. That is what it is. But
That's
I
true.
know I know what you're saying, though. I know what you're
Yeah,
saying.
it'll impact more than just that one person. It'll impact many
Yeah,
lives.
I got
It's
you.
on that Puffy thing. Is that something you've seen? I'm not going to bullshit and be like, everybody's going to ask the dumb questions, but I'm just going to simply ask, you being around as long as you have been, especially in hip hop, being a part of hip hop, New York hip hop, is that something that was a surprise to you when they took him down, or was it something that was just, oh yeah, I knew it was a matter of time?
Well, I think they pick and choose who to take down, you know. Uh, Puffy, the big bosses that were around before Puffy, the guys that ran the labels, I don't want to name names and do all of
Right, right,
this.
right.
No, they were doing worse shit than anybody, and none of them got taken down, And the
Right.
musicians before that were doing horrible things, and Puffy, right guy, right place, right, whatever it is, they took him down. But Puffy's kind of like compared to what really goes on in that business. Puffy's small beans,
I
compared to
believe it.
some of the nasty shit that goes down in that game. So yeah.
I believe it. And what's crazy though is that I all
And
around the
that's
world,
not a defense, and that's not a defense of anybody. I'm not there behind the closed doors, and I know I've heard stories about Diddy, saying, "Hey, if you do this, you'll get a record deal," and boom, boom, and you know, pushing his power on people. But in reality, I wasn't in that office when that happened. I just heard a story.
right.
I wasn't at the party when this or that happened. So people talk and talk, and hopefully the real truth comes out, and justice is served, and this and that. Uh, it's a complicated time because you want to make
Yeah.
sure everything is the truth, and then it's just the flip side of that is like, oh, you don't want to shame a real victim and say you're lying, because
True.
somebody's a celebrity. So you don't want to defend the celebrity against somebody that might have been victimized. So it's all complicated, It's
It's
all
many
it's all
levels.
complicated times, And then there are people who do lie. There's a check involved. There's this and that, but who's to say who's lying and who's not? Because we're not there. We weren't there. So
Yeah,
and
true.
that and I'm not just saying that about him. I'm saying that about
In general.
all cases. Period. It's there's
People, to my recollection or to my knowledge, most people that want to be starlets back in the day, you know what I mean? Hey, they had to, sleep with somebody, you know what I mean?
oh
Harvey
no no
Weinstein smashed a lot, but you know what I mean? It's one of those things where at the end of the day, we still make our own conscious decision, whether if it's displayed in front of us. And then a lot of it is, I think, do people make these decisions and go, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to do this, and then it doesn't pan out how they want, and then they're just like salty with themselves in a way, to say that to say everything is not everything's true, but for one particular person, it might be true. And then it's like, yeah, but they made this decision to do this because they in their head seen what it could be. And then it's like if they live
well,
with their
that's
own
that
guilt,
that might be
you know,
certain
it's
cases,
fucked
but
up.
that might be certain cases that happened, but that's also generalizing because there is also a thing, an abuse of power where, you
Absolutely.
know, you do feel threatened and feel like, hey, somebody's gonna hurt my life. And you know, I mean, every situation's different,
Right.
so we can only everybody pointing fingers at this person and that person, and you're a liar. Oh no, you really did it. You did. Like, who the hell are we? We weren't there
Right.
for anything,
It's
And
true.
this includes murder trials. This includes history. you know. We can only go by what we're told, and hope that our intuition is correct, And
And a
but
lot of this, back to what we were saying about the social media, a lot of this, if social media didn't exist or it wasn't as prevalent as it was, we wouldn't even know 90% of this. You know what I mean? That you would have to really deep dive it, because I personally, I haven't seen it. I mean, I've seen it on the news, but I've seen it like, and in other news, you know what I mean? It's not like the biggest thing going on. So you'd
no,
really
I
have to
think I
deep
think the
dive if
Puff
it
Diddy
wasn't,
stuff is front page news on a lot of papers, and Yeah, Associated Press. I've seen it on a lot of headlines actually. Yeah, they're really going hard on it, you know.
O-
So
over over there, are they talking about it as much as they're talking about it over here
well, the
overseas?
internet is
Oh,
worldwide. So if I see the cover of a newspaper from New York and see the cover of online site over here that's a US based, I
right.
say, oh wow, the US, Associated Press worldwide, so yeah, and that kind of news with one of the most famous people in music at the moment spreads like wildfire, just like Trump, like Trump is, worldwide news. They talk about him all over the world. You think, oh, I'm going to go to another country and not hear his name, but nah, it's the internet exists and the news networks all spread news from other countries, and you know what it is.
Oh yeah. But I went to sneaker con a couple months ago. I'm there, it's in Philly. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm going. All of a sudden, we're pulling up. Fucking barricades, everything. Boom, boom, boom. Police, Secret Service. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I had no idea Trump is launching a line of fucking sneakers at SneakerCon in Philly. I walk in and
Yeah,
I'm like, what the fuck? I had to get patted down through secret security. I'm like, this is such a waste, man. I mean, it was something like I've
yeah.
never seen before. It was crazy. Just
It's sad.
to go sit
It's
in the hall and
sad.
watch them,
It's
hustle some
sad.
fucking $400 shoes.
Yeah, and it's sad because people went for it, and
Oh
made
yeah,
them some more money. But the thing is, that's America, man. We have these two
sure.
old, wrinkled, out of touch lunatics. And the Democrat Party is such trash that they had Trump 2016 to 2020. And all they had to do was get a person who could talk and be semi-likable.
Right.
And they couldn't even find that. They found like an old guy that could barely make a sentence, that doesn't know where he is half the time. And
Can't ride a
and
bike.
it's to the point where, and they keep boosting up Trump's popularity where there's a good chance he could be back in the damn White House as well. And it's like back and forth ping pong with two idiots. It's like, why can't, that's why the American system, the two-party system in America, if Americans would stand up and vote for a third party and all say, because what they say is if you don't vote for against Trump, it's like voting for Trump. And then if you don't vote against Biden, it's like voting for Biden, so they feel like you have to either vote for Trump or Biden. And with that
Right.
mind state is it will stay like that forever. If the whole country believes that, that's what it's
Yeah.
going to stay. What if the country gets together? Look at how many people don't even vote, And if the
True.
country looks at how disgusting and how horrible it is, and look at Genocide Joe right now blowing shit up all over the damn world, it's like if the country would say, look, we're tired of the war machine. We don't want Joe Biden. We're tired of the white nationalist piece of shit. We don't want Trump. Let's put somebody good in the White House. And if we all got together and campaigned for somebody that was decent, it would take hard work, but even if they didn't win, it would open up the doors for more people to donate and invest for the next time. Like, oh wow, this third party got 36% of the vote. That
Right.
means we or whatever, maybe that's 28, whatever the hell it
Right.
is. Like
That's a lot, but yeah, I get what you're
if
saying though.
if they could come close to really you know, winning or coming halfway to winning, that might
See,
set
we
up the
start to see
one
it more.
4 years from there, then, something. But America's got to change because we're going under. We're
Yeah.
losing. If we get Biden 4 years more, we lose. If we got Trump 4 more years, we lose.
Yeah.
But you know what? That's America. The people behind the scenes uh,
It's like
are
they
who they
they know what they're
are.
doing, but they have no idea what they're doing. You know what I mean? Like they have this old premonition of like whatever the old world was or whatever the fuck they think it was supposed to be, or and it's they're trying to keep ushering it and ushering it in. It's like the world has changed so much, man. These people are just so out of touch that I believe they can't see the big picture. And as to your point, we'll never get the big picture across because they keep painting these little pictures and going, focus on this, focus on this. You got Democrat, you
Oh,
got Republican,
it's.
focus on
Did you
this.
ever have a conversation about today with your great grandmother or your grandmother? Like, if you're talking about classic mu music from the 40s, maybe your grandmother will have a great story for you. But if
Right.
you're talking about what is going through the mind of the people who will be running the country and working hard in the country for the next 30 years, the 15-year-olds to the 45-year-olds, what do they want for this country? What will help them in the future? If you talk to your grandmother about that, your grandfather about, they don't know. Well, we need to bring it back to the old days when we weren't having sex as much and blah blah blah. It's like old people out of touch, out of date, and they have no clue what the hell they're talking about. They're like, it'd be like an 80-year-old trying to make a new hip, uh, rap song today, or so, whatever it is, or a new pop song from an
Right.
80-year-old. It's a different generation, it's a different world and a different mind. And they get so caught up in, it's not like the way I grew up. It's not like the way I grew up. That's why it's so terrible, because it's not like the way I grew up. Meanwhile, the way you grew up was terrible.
Right. Yeah.
Your
They just
childhood
didn't
was
realize it.
terrible compared to these kids as well. Like, stop acting like you lived in this perfect world, because you didn't. Your parents used to beat the shit out of you. Uh, uh, just look at what the system was, and look at the 1980s, the AIDS epidemic and the fear mongering of homosexuals and pro war mongering, everything. It's like, smoking in your kids' faces, feeding your
Yeah.
kids sodas, like it's nothing. Uh, your doctor's smoking in your mouth when you're 6 months old. It's like, you know,
It's true. It's true.
and if you go back further, you don't even gotta. I mean, the 80s there was nonstop disgust and ugliness, but then you go back, we act like the civil rights movement was a different lifetime ago. It
Right.
wasn't. It People are still alive and around from the civil rights era, where people weren't allowed, they weren't looked at, oh, you're gonna go to the school with my white daughter, you
Yeah.
N-word, like it's
Yeah.
and that's still happening today. Not segregation in the schools, but like, look at the fear mongering of black criminals and black crime, and look at what it's like, they just want to fear and have you scared at all times, at all corners.
Yeah. That's how they get the control, man. They have you scared. They have the control, man. Everybody's afraid of being afraid. That's what's fucked up.
Yeah, the more fear, the more they gain power. That's
Yeah.
100%. And the more they divide the people
Yes.
from fear, because then they have the people fearing each other, and that's more power.
True. It's more power for them. It's fucking and it's almost like them fucking circle doors. You go in, no matter what, if it's just some people get stuck in them. They just keep going around the perpetual
Well,
fucking motion
that's what the
circle.
Republican Democrat Party is.
There it is. Yeah.
The Republicans suck. We're going to go with the Democrat, and the Democrat, oh, the Democrat's the worst one ever. Republican, Republican, Republican. Democrat, Democrat. It's like it's the revolving door of the same
Yep.
disgusting bullshit.
It's
And
it's just fucking I hate it.
yep, yep,
It's
yep.
been and it's fucked up because the people that could do something about it feel like they're too afraid to do something about it.
Or
Or
they
the
don't
people
care.
that are on
They
like,
don't care enough to do
you
something
know,
about.
that's true. Yeah,
But
that's
like
true.
like we was talking about, the other guy, the richest guy in the world, is busy crying about, white racism against white people on Twitter. He
Right.
bought Twitter to save white people.
That's
Like,
fucking that.
oh,
I
white
actually did not even
racism
see
is
that's fucking
real.
crazy.
Racism isn't real, but against whites it is. Oh, it's like, get out of here, you jerk off.
It's like I work for Amazon, right? Just been there 10 years. And work for fucking Jeff Bezos.
Yeah.
Was richest man in the world. And
Hey,
this guy could do so much with his money, but he's fucking
yeah,
worrying about going up to space with
yep,
William Shatner.
space.
Like, who
Yep.
the fuck cares, man? That guy was what, 80 years old going to fucking space? Who cares?
Yeah, yeah.
I just look at it as you could be doing so. I mean, I get it. If I was a billionaire, I would have my hobbies too. But what the fuck? You know what I mean? But then you have his wife who all she did was fuck him, split from him, and now she's giving away billions of dollars trying to do like, some charitable things, which is pretty
Yo,
noble.
so her pussy is boss. Thank God for her pussy,
Right?
because if
Exactly.
she's the charity box,
Yes,
That's the queen right there. Take
it
that
is.
base money and save the world, mama. We love you. We
Fuck
love
yeah,
you. I
dude.
don't know who she is, but if what you said is true, we love you.
Yeah, yeah, it's true. I think her name is Mackenzie Bezos. She's lit. I believe like when they split up, I think maybe she got like a 2 billion or something. I think she
Mm.
already gave half of it away to just to charities, and like because she's like I can't live off it, and she just keeps finding all these charities and just boom, 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 just fucking shoving money down their
That's
throats in the
true. If
best
that's
way.
true, if that's true, much respect to that woman, you know.
Yeah, man.
And I
They
wish she got more than 2 billion from that
straight up,
company.
dude, because he ain't doing shit with it. What he make of that? You see the super yacht that he made? Like, who gives a fuck? You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Some bullshit. It's supposed to be the biggest boat in the world or something. And we're fucking at Amazon. I'm sitting there multitasking, doing 200 things, fucking taking calls for fucking tractor trailers I work with and shit. It's garbage, man. you know. But nah, but definitely power to his fucking wife, man, because that's great. Or his ex-wife. That's great. To it's been said, I've seen it been said, man. You wrote Suicide Disco in 8 days.
Yeah, I wrote the whole entire story and the whole script in 8 days, and then I sent it out to some of my writer friends and who sell scripts in Hollywood and who do make films and stuff. And it was a way, uh, it was a huge response from everybody. They all loved it. I said, okay, now let me put the rewrite on it. But the version that I sent out to everybody that everybody went crazy for was 8 days. The script I wrote before it was 6 months, and that was a piece of shit. It was just like this good idea on top of good idea on top of good idea on top of good idea, and which equaled shit, because it just I didn't put the puzzle pieces together correctly. And when I went to do the rewrite to that one, I just said, you know what? I started writing a totally different script. And then that Suicide Disco came out of me in 8 days, and it was pretty great. Well, I hate saying that about my own stuff. It's the reaction to it has been pretty great. That's what I'll say. The reaction has been really loved. A lot of people have really loved this script and are really excited about it, which makes me excited because
Hell
and
yeah.
these are all professional writers that and directors who've made great films and great scripts. And so I feel really proud of the work, and now we're trying to make it for way less money than people make movies for, but we're gonna try our best.
What's the soundtrack sounding like? New album
Oh, there's
or
a whole bunch of
compilation?
yeah, there's gonna be a whole bunch of different music on it, but we're gonna have some legendary musicians on it. Yep, and legendary artists, and it's gonna be a good soundtrack. I think I'm gonna make the fans happy with it. I believe.
That's fucking cool, man. That's real cool. So where did you draw inspiration from it? Or for it, I should say. Where did you draw inspiration for the movie?
Well, the film is about loss. So I talk about it often how I watched my father bury his two children and my mother bury the two children with him, and my sister buried her child. And a lot of the reactions in the script kind of come from real life and watching the way people have dealt with loss.
Okay.
And then I put a really twisted, insane, demented spin on that. So I think I got something pretty good. I do think I got something pretty good.
Yeah, everybody deals with loss different, man, too. That's a couple months ago, 7 months ago, my mom's just she's passed from stage 4 brain cancer. And I
You're
was,
mourning right now. I'm sorry. Rest in peace.
guys, thank
That's
you.
8 months that's like 2 days ago in
It's
the
yeah,
time.
it's been crazy. So when you
I'm
when you said
sorry.
how people deal with loss, man, I get that, man. Because one thing I'm finding out myself is that grieving and suffering such a big loss, um, it comes out of nowhere and it strikes like lightning when you least expect it, and in the weirdest way, shape, and form. You know what I mean? Like you look at a drink and then all of a sudden it triggers something, it triggers something, it triggers something. That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
And he just struck my interest so much more with this movie when you said that.
Yeah, I'm sorry you're going through that. The one thing I don't know I don't,
You know,
I don't
I
know if
appreciate
it's,
it, man.
oh, sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, 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 you're good. I was just saying I appreciate that, man. I didn't mean to throw it in to be like, oh, poor me.
No, man,
Just,
like
you know,
honestly,
talking
8 months,
conversation.
8 months, people think 8 months, but for something that big of a loss, it takes about at least 2 years to even process it. But the one thing, this may not be with you or everyone else, but with me, and when I talk to people, some people kind of agree sometimes, it worked out the same way for some people. But what happened with me is the first, it's sadness and you miss them and you cry and you can't accept the loss. You can't accept they're gone and this is my life is this without them forever, and that's unacceptable. But then after time goes by, like, they say time heals wounds. What happens, it never goes away, obviously. But a lot of the sadness you feel turns into happiness from memories later on because you go, now where that drink, oh, that's the drink I had with my mom. It makes you sad because you haven't accepted her gone. Later on, now you're like, oh, remember that time with mom drinking that drink? And it becomes more of a happy memory rather than a sad, unacceptable loss. And I'm not saying that's going to happen with you, but that's happened with me where like now I just smile a lot and one time you shed a tear here and there,
Right.
but it's
One
it's
hot one. Like,
yeah, the memory is such a blessing that it makes you happy. Like, oh, I have that memory. Oh, that I experienced that person, and this was part of my life, and I had that, and I was so blessed to have it. And then you laugh at the silly shit that happened, and even you laugh at the fucked up shit that happened. Oh man, we went through that together. Where like when you're first going through the morning, you're like, oh, we went through that together. Like we had to put up with so much shit, you know. So it's but like you said, everyone handles it differently.
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
That's actually one of the reasons why my buddy and I we do the podcast. I do the conversations with people. He's not really interested, and he's like, I don't care. All right, cool. He does his own thing. So I take this segment and I made it my own. And this is one of the reasons why we started doing it. I was like, man, I need something to fucking focus my energy on. I'm
Yeah.
just getting sick and tired of sitting here. Got a little time off of work right now to get my shit together, and I'm like, the fuck am I gonna do?
Yeah.
Doing things like that, it keeps you occupied and it gives you almost that confidence back that you're lacking a little bit. Maybe confidence might not be the right word, but that sense of like, fuck me. You know what I mean? But then it's like, yeah, it gives you a little something good to look forward to, you know?
Yeah. And also when my father passed, it was such a big, huge hit because he was the whole family's favorite person.
Right.
Uh, I ended up dedicating my career and my life work to him and to make him proud. So all of a sudden, I started dressing a little. He used to, when I was crustified dibs, I dressed dirty, crusty, and that was me. That was my style. That was me. I was dirty, crusty, nasty. And he used to say, son, you're a sharp kid. You should clean up, man. Clean up. You clean up nice, kid. I know I know you was a baby. You're a clean kid. Clean. Come on, let's do it. And I was like, Dad, this is who I am. That kind of thing. And when he passed, you could even look at the pictures. My dress got a little better. My jacket started getting a little slicker. My hat started getting a little nicer. My shave started getting a little fancier. And I cleaned up a little bit for Pops to kind of as a dedication to that man. And then I put out my two most successful records and I did world tours worldwide and since he's passed, got hundreds of millions of views and listens worldwide. And
Oh, yeah.
and until my kids were born, it was all dedicated to my daddy. And now it's all for my kids. It's for their future, to give my kids, if I do an album, they'll own it when I'm dead. If I do a movie, they'll own my percentage of the movie when I'm dead. And so now, it was for my daddy, now it's for my babies.
That's
So
awesome. Pass that torch on.
yeah,
It's fucking awesome, man. That's great. It's
yeah.
it's weird, man, because it's things you don't think about. Like we had known it was going to happen over here for for us. It's weird. I can't even say for us. I'm an only child, so for me, it's just
Oh,
pow.
so that's even crazy. Yeah. Oh my God. And
And
you have no kids and you have no siblings.
no, I have
Oh, my brother, much love to you, man. I know
It
I
was
know how much
fucked
that
up.
hit you.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah. Well, it was weird too because with ours, like in my family, my mom had a brother. He passed away from pancreatic cancer a couple years ago. She had another brother, and then when she just got like, real sick, he was just like literally told me we had a conversation, and he goes, "Hey man, it's too much for me, and it's gonna sound fucked up because when my parents were dying, I had my brother and sister. He was like, but blessings to you, but you're on your own." And I was like, all right, like time to man the fuck up, which is crazy because obviously did got everything paid for. I pride myself, not for whatever, but pride myself. I was able to pay for my mom's funeral out of my pocket. Didn't have to ask anybody for help. Which is like a good thing because I feel like I got to send her off the right way. You know what I mean? She went through so much bullshit the last year of her life. She had like a big scar on her head. She was like a real, like I'm a bigger guy. She is she was like real scrawny just her whole life, like 5 foot nothing, 100 pounds soaking wet. So she looked way different. So I, made the decision. I was like, we're gonna do everything before. We're gonna have like like a urn kind of ceremony type deal. Just because I didn't want her to go out like that. I wanted her friends to remember her as she was so much. So it's, it's that catch 22 where right now I'm living everything vicariously for her. I'm trying to keep my wits about me, do everything like that, much in the same respect that you're saying, once they go, your
It's
thinking goes a little
unacceptable.
different and it
Yeah,
starts
and it's
to
unacceptable,
change.
right? It's unacceptable,
It's
right?
unacceptable.
Yeah.
It's crazy, but it's, at the end of the day, it sucks because life keeps, or the world keeps turning and life keeps going on. And I think that about it is what'll stick with me as the hardest part because it's just like, fuck, you know what I mean? Like you say, you think about that, like that soda, and it's like, oh man, it's the drink we had. Then it's like, fuck, I mean? Because no
And
matter
then when
what,
something
in the end of
beautiful
it,
happens in your life, you want to call them and tell them and hug them and make them
yes,
happy, and you can't tell them
yes,
nothing. They're not
yeah,
there to tell them everything you want to tell them. Yeah,
yeah,
it's the worst. It's the
it's
worst thing in the
crazy.
world.
It's
Yeah, I'm sorry.
oh man, I appreciate that. Like I said, I don't say this. I'm not that guy. I don't want to be like, oh, I feel bad for me. It's life goes on.
Oh, no, but that's, man,
But
the,
it's real life,
the loss of your most loved one is
yeah,
the hardest imaginable thing, period. So there's not feel bad for me. It is reality. You got hit with the hardest one. And on another, try to do the positive thing is this is what I did with mine too, is that this is the hardest thing you're going to go through.
right,
So this is actually your mom through death is giving you strength.
straight
Right
up,
now, she's bringing you to your weakest moment, and you're weak, and you feel so. Is anything worth it? Is it? I don't want to go through,
right,
but when you get past it, your strength, what they say, it's all cliche, but what doesn't kill us makes us stronger. But
straight
it's
up.
the fact.
It
So she's
builds character,
building you.
things like
She's
this.
building your character. She's building your strength. That's your mother
Absolutely,
doing that every day that she's not here. She's doing that for you. She's building your muscles up.
straight
Getting
up.
you ready and then when you get your ass kicked in life, it won't be as difficult
It,
because you got your ass kicked the worst imaginable.
Fuck yeah.
So,
Yeah. It's nothing. I don't think anything will ever hurt as bad as that. So it's like, what the
exactly,
fuck? What in a sense, everything's fun and games now. Because nothing will ever hurt as bad as that.
exactly.
It's
And
I will say
if
this.
you don't have kids, makes it safer because you don't got to worry about like what if something happens to that. No, no, your big one. You
Yeah,
know,
that's it.
like my kids, my son, I don't know, he was being a jerk in school the other day, like hid in the bathroom or something. And because he didn't want to go to class, something. And the teachers, oh, your son never came back for recess. He's in first grade. I'm like, what do you mean? Where the hell's our son?
Oh
We
shit.
rushed to the school, but all the crazy stuff going through your head. Like, what if he got hit by a car on the side of the road? What if somebody took him? What if where the hell's my son? And then you get there and you find, oh, he's playing hooky, the little jerk. But like all these horrible, scary things go through your mind,
Yeah, absolutely. It's fear of the unknown, man. Especially, that's your loin, man.
Especially when your kid's missing.
Shit. Yeah,
School
yeah.
calls, hey, your kid's missing.
Yeah,
Like he's in
that's
first
gotta be the
grade. What do you
worst.
mean he's missing?
The fuck
Find him.
he's under your fucking supervision right now. Like, oh my God, dude.
Yeah.
I uh I find that speaking of like the inspiration and things like that, and like especially everything that has happened me lately the past couple months, uh it brought me to a. I want to share this with you. It brought me to an idea for a horror movie. I think you would dig, right? You have a guy, not me, anybody, straight. It could be your main character, guy, girl, anybody. He or she is at a funeral. The whole day it's showing they have healthy habits. They're doing this thing. They're going by. They're getting ready. You don't know what they're getting ready for. Boom, they're at a funeral. It's their parent. Their parent's dead. All these people go through the line. And I'm sure you've experienced it. I'm sure you know what it is. Everybody says the same thing. Hey, don't hesitate to reach out if there's anything I can do for you. At the end of the day, we all know that majority of that's bullshit, but it's a good thing to say. So this person, 6 months later, starts knocking on people's doors. Hey, oh, hey, what's up? Hey, listen, you had said back at the funeral, if there's anything I need a place to stay for a couple days. And then it kind of turns into like the psychological thriller of like a cat and mouse where he goes through or she goes through and just starts Xing people out, man. And it's like, and it all stems from this, if there's anything I can do that really doesn't mean shit. And they're just like, let's take them all down. You know what I mean? I always thought that would be a crazy fucking movie.
And what would it be called if there's anything I can do
It
for
would
you?
be called either My Deepest Condolences or Don't Hesitate to Reach Out.
Yeah. Yeah, that could definitely be an interesting one, you know? Yeah,
Fucking
definitely.
wild, man.
So, but
For
you got to
real.
write it. The thing is, that's the
Yeah,
thing
that's
about
true.
every one of us has like a good, see, sometimes a bad idea, if it's well written, could be phenomenal, or like a
True.
standard idea that doesn't even sound original. Oh, the daughter's kidnapped and the father has to find her, you know, and then you write it very well and you direct it very well, and then you got Commando, you know, like a bloodbath, Schwarzenegger is shooting the shit out of everyone, but then sometimes you'll have a good idea or a unique idea and it's written poorly and the idea, was down the toilet. So if you have an idea like that, if you sit down with it and figure out how to make it work, it could be something really interesting, you know? So
Yeah. Yeah, for now it's just an idea. I was just like, man, I'm one of them guys. I'm a concept guy. And then I go, it's
yeah, that's the
in one
problem
ear
with
and out the other.
most people, though. That's the problem with most people because
That's
they
true.
get the idea and they put it in their head and they never put it down on paper. And then they overthink it and they don't finish the script or they start it. Like you really have to say, you know what? Say you're gonna read like War and Peace, you got to sit
Right.
down and commit. The same thing with writing your story. Like, hey, every night before bed, I'm gonna chop some wood, write some pages, write this damn story. And even if it's not as good as you want it to be, it's in your drawer. You pop it out another 6 months and go, oh, here's how to make it better. Boom, boom, boom. But you start writing it, if you
Yeah.
want to, if it
Yeah.
feels like something, if it's eating
Nothing to
away
it but to
at you,
do it.
you probably write it. So
Right. Yeah, it would definitely like you said, the puzzle pieces would definitely they would start to link a little bit more. Big gaps in the idea. But
yeah,
overall, I just think it would be a pretty cool concept.
yeah.
You brought up Crucified Dibs. Is he dead?
Well,
like
nah,
like
like I said in the song "Life of the Party," that ignorant guy is still living inside of me. Like he's still there. I
yeah.
try to keep him quiet. I try to behave. I try not to lose my cool, but sometimes I can't help it. So, but I try my best. I try my best.
Got you. Just had to know. It was one of those things, and it's funny that you say that about the dressing after your father passed and everything, and like shaping the image a little different, man. It's crazy, the things that you don't really piece together until you hear it. Then you go, oh shit, man, that's that's cool, man. I like that. I like it because it's something personal to you as well. You know what I mean? It's something you just didn't go, oh, I'm going to do this. It's something you guys actually spoke about. You know what I mean? That you decided to take and roll with, man, which is really cool.
Yeah,
I
and I
like
always,
stuff like that.
oh, Dad, you don't understand. Parents just don't understand.
Right?
And then let me make my daddy proud. Let me clean it up.
You talk about parents don't understand. You know what's fucked up, man? You got a song. DJ Jazzy Jeff does the cuts on it, right?
Yeah.
You and Afro have a song, right? Fucking Jazzy Jeff lives 10 minutes down the street from me. He's always putting online that he's trying to sell these sneakers and fucking shoes. Will not hit me back for the life of me. I've been trying to get a hold of this guy to buy some shoes from this guy, right? Because he's got like 3,000 pairs. Will not hit me back for the life of me. And I'm just like, God damn it.
What do you hit him in the
Because he lives
inbox
down
on
the street.
IG?
Yeah. He'll put it up on the
Yeah, the
stories
problem
and
with that is there's a lot of on IG, they kind of try to protect you, and
right.
it goes to this thing. like I'm looking right now, it's like requests.
Oh yeah, I
And
can imagine
you
if you
know,
got that check mark, it's probably
it's like hidden requests, and a lot of it is spam and weirdos. And but then when I look through it, it's like there are real people. Like I'm doing it right now just because you said it, you know.
yeah, because there's
Of
real
course.
people in there, man. That is one thing that I get. There's a lot of spam, especially somebody that has a a big influence and a big following online. You're gonna get a lot of bullshit, but there are real people in there.
Yeah, but the problem is this. See, there's hidden requests,
Right.
and they it's almost like a spam box that IG does, and a lot of the spam isn't really spam. So it might be that you're just in his request spam box on the side, you
Probably
know?
it probably is. It's just like
Yeah.
son of a bitch. It's just one of those things where you're like, dude, I could take like 5 pairs of those off your hands.
Hey, you know what's funny is not funny. It's not funny at all, actually. But Jazzy Jeff was supposed to be in the "Gotta Be Dope" video,
Okay.
and but we shot it, and then when we were trying to get Jeff, uh, the lockdown started happening. So we planned to shoot the video, and we were going to come out to Delaware, I believe, or he was going to come. He was in Cali at the time, wherever it was.
That's funny.
He
Yeah,
got
because
he got the damn COVID at the time. He was one of the first people in hip hop that got COVID. And then
damn,
I was like, oh shit. And he didn't want nobody there after that. I think it put him into shock for a little bit. Yeah.
makes sense. You my friend, I know you're a busy man. I'm gonna get ready and wrap up here. I have two quick questions for you. And then uh, please plug anything you have, man. I obviously the movie, but anything else you have. But I have two questions. Number one is going to be I've I've heard over a couple times, the Biggie story, he broke the toilet, right? And things like that. But I try to think and I go, who do I think somebody that would be really fucking crazy to hang out with that you've probably hung out with and was probably fucking nuts? Do you have any DMX stories?
Well, oh, you know what? My lawyer, because I was getting a lot of people in magazines in 2005, six, because for an extra hustle, I was writing movies and boxing for Vibe and for Source and for XXL and for Maxim and a ton of magazines. So my lawyer had said, "Hey, DMX is trying to, release something independently or something." I don't remember the exact year this was, but he said, "Can you make some calls and get X to do some interviews?" I said, "Of course." So I hit everybody up, like, "Yeah, of course we'll do it, DMX." So I got him a bunch of interviews, but then like he was running around and the interviews never happened because X went kind of missing. So I don't really have too much personal X stories, but that was the one closest one where they asked me to get him some press and then he kind of disappeared. But as far as crazy people that I knew personally, I knew the majority of the 90s guys. Uh,
That's just crazy to me.
no, no, it's
It's
not that
amazing.
crazy. But
Well, it's not. Well, what I mean by that when I say crazy is that you've been able to be entangled with everybody. You know what I mean? Whether it be behind
yeah.
the scenes as a friend, doing songs, doing business. Just I mean, how you've just been one of the people that's just so intertwined, man. That to me, that thought of being so intertwined and so embedded, especially in the culture, it's just not crazy, but it's far out. You know what I mean?
I'm very, very close with most of my idols from the 80s, the people who I grew up on,
Right.
the people who I wanted to be like, the people who I learned my craft watching. I'm very close with a lot of them. And if I'm not close with them, we're cool. We're friends and we could text each other and they call me. And, that's really dope for me. Like all my idols kind of give me my accolades and show
Oh
me
yeah.
love. And then
Give you your flowers.
the 90s was my peers, the
Right.
whole Biggie, Mobb Deep, Wu-Tang. They were all, it was all the same circle.
Right.
So we all knew each other, and everyone else from the 90s as well. That was just the era. We were all in the same studios. We were all bouncing back and forth. It was before the internet, so if you uh if you were up in the right studios, everybody was there, and we all knew each other. Yeah.
Who's the first rapper you ever met or first producer? Like the first day
The
when
first,
you didn't know anybody, and then he's
well,
like,
I tell
hey,
this story often is Biz Markie was, wherever I lay my hat is my home. He was everywhere. But he went to high school in Long Island, and he stayed out there with his brother Diamond Shell, and he lived there as well with some of his family. Patchogue Medford High School, I think he went to too. So Biz took me in early, and when I was a kid, Capital, the crime lord, his name was Capital T. He was on Biz's album. Uh, he brought me up to Charlie Marauders when I was 14. No, no, I was at Charlie Marauders before I met Cap, maybe. Yeah, but Charlie Murata's studio had JVC Force, Kirk Casal was the engineer, and EPMD was recording there, and all the greats out of Long Island was at that spot. So I was, when I was 14, 15, 16, I was with all the dope rappers from Long Island at the time. Public Enemy was in Nassau County, and Busta Rhymes. Busta, I think I met for the first time when I was probably later on, like 18 or something. And Chuck I met later on. Like Chuck was in some of the studios, but I didn't meet Chuck till probably my 20s. So yeah.
Damn.
De La Soul was in Amityville. Prince Paul I knew pretty well. Me and Prince Paul became friends through the years. And another one. When I was Crustified Dibs, it was like the whole horrorcore era, and then Poetic. I think he was
Okay.
from Amityville too. He's passed away, rest in peace, too Poetic. He ended up being in the group with Paul called the Gravediggers, and the Gravediggers was
Yeah.
RZA, and I think Priest was on the one joint, and my guy, holy shit, Shabazz the Disciple as well, and RZA, Prince Paul, Fruquan. Uh, yeah, my Gravediggers knowledge is a little,
Yeah.
but too Poetic from Amityville. He was in the group, and rest in peace. He was a really good guy. And when I met Paul for the first time, he told me that the first time he heard of me was through Too Poetic telling him, "Yo, Rugged Man, you got to meet Rugged. Yo, Rugged Man's insane. He's crazy. You got to meet Rugged Man." So I was like, "Okay, that's dope." But
That's awesome.
if you ever want to listen to it, it's a sad, sad song. There's a song, Last Emperor and Too Poetic. It's one of Poetic's last songs. I don't remember the name of it, but just Google Too Poetic and Last Emperor. And it's one of my favorite, saddest verses. It's
Wow.
Poetic writes a verse when he's a few months away from dying from cancer.
Wow.
He died like
Shit.
pretty soon after he wrote it. And it's all about, he's like, "Oh, I'm suffering." Like his whole verse is about the process of dying from cancer. And it's a tearjerker. It's one of the
Wow.
saddest verses you'll ever hear. And then he
Wow.
died. No, it's yeah,
I'm definitely gonna check that out. That's I'm not familiar with that verse. That's something
it's a
learn something new
powerful
every day.
one.
I'm glad you gave me that fucking knowledge, man.
A
Appreciate
powerful
that.
one. And it's a powerful, sad one. Life is hard, man.
It
You
is.
might not
It's
want to
a
listen to it for a few months. It
nah,
might
it's
it
all
might
good.
it might
I'll
put you in a
definitely listen
funk
to
for
it,
a couple
man.
of days. So
You get out of here. Just quick yes or no. Do you smoke weed?
no, I know
No?
you're a cannabis-based show. My father was a weed head. He smoked. He always told he would threaten the rappers, on interviews. He'd be like, "Yo, Snoop Dogg, I'll out smoke you, Redman. I want to lay out smoke you." So, it is what it is.
Awesome. And my friend, last but not least, what does success look like to you?
Well, it always changes the definition of success because you say, "Oh, success is you made a lot of money," but then look at these billionaires in the world; they're miserable.
Right?
Is that successful? Becoming a world leader, I guess that's successful, right? But is
Right?
it if you're miserable? Is becoming one of the biggest selling artists successful when you're Kanye West and you hate yourself and you hate your life and you hate Jewish people and you hate you whatever the hell it is. I don't even want to go into the politics
Right, right,
behind
right.
it. But you know what I mean? Like is that success? What so and they go, "Oh, you want your children to be successful." And you go, "Yeah,
Right.
okay, yeah, I'd love for my kids to be rich and set for life." But at the same time, what if they're miserable? So is success that if my kids live a happy life and love to wake up in the morning and live and enjoy living? I know that sounds like a, pretentious answer, but I guess if you could get to the point where you love waking up and love living and want to live and you're happy with who you are and maybe that's success. But then like anything, like physical success, capitalist success, it could all be taken away from you in a second as well. All of
Absolutely.
a sudden you're the richest guy, then bow, boom, stock market, jump out the window, kill yourself. So was he successful? If he was
Right.
successful for 20 years and then killed himself one day, like what's success, Or if you're happy your whole life and then you lose the person you love more than anybody, and then you're sad the rest of your life. Are you success? It's a hard question
It's a
because
it's a
this is
fine line.
whatever perspective, I
Right.
guess
Yeah, it's true.
if you put success in a dictionary, it probably says, someone that did good for themselves or something, something. But what does good for yourself really mean? Sometimes success isn't good for yourself, you know. Sometimes success brings excess and you destroy yourself
Mm,
with that success.
mm.
So yeah.
Fucking true words. True fucking words, man. My friend, I want to tell you, I truly appreciate the conversation. I truly appreciate the time. I know you're a busy man. I know it's your day off. I know it's your day of rest here. Before we go, is there anything that you want to promote? I know you want to promote the movie. How can somebody who wants to be a part of crowdfunding get a hold of you and be
Well,
a part of that?
the crowdfunding is about to end, but if you want to look up Suicide Disco on Indiegogo, if this goes up right away, that's available to get perks and stuff like that. But if you want to invest in the film Suicide Disco, uh, just hit us up, the rugged movie at gmail.com, and I could send you the pitch deck. I could send you all the information, and I'm definitely looking for a couple big time executive producer investors to throw in some extra cash because right now my crew is underpaid and everybody's kind of working on favors. They're getting paid, but favors for the
I know what
rate
you
that
mean. Yeah.
where if I could really get some money, I could make everybody work harder and feel good about being part of it and not slaving over a damn movie. I really want to pay everybody and get everything in order and do it correctly. So yeah, I definitely need some extra cash because we're filming part of it in the end of July, and then we're shooting the majority of it in October. So I definitely need a nice couple investment checks to come through, and you could get points on the film and be executive producer. Hit up the rugged movie at gmail.com.
Fucking awesome, man. Wish you nothing but success, continued success. I mean, shit, you've had success for decades. Wish you nothing but continued success. And I hope the movie does fucking huge numbers. Personally, I can't wait to see it. You definitely got one sold over here. And I
Thank
hope it does
you, sir.
fucking big for you, man.
Thank you, sir. Much love.
No problem, man. Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for the time today, man. You have a great night.
Peace, peace.
Peace, bro.